Hey, bad day, what's up? I'm not in a great mood, but I'm still gonna do an album review because it is in my schedule, okay? I've scheduled it to do it today. Actually, I scheduled to do this review like a couple days ago, but it got postponed, so I have to do it today. But anyway, it's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm gonna do a review, finally, a review on the latest Charli XCX album, Charli. So, Charli XCX is a UK pop singer who has been making some bangers for a very long time already, namely the I Don't Care song with Pop, but also the Fancy song with Iggy Azalea, which I think is pretty catchy but not really that great. And throughout the years, she really isn't one of the best pop artists out there. Instead, she is one of the least interesting ones. Yeah. But she had perfected her style and sound lately, and with the help of some of the producers off of the PC Music label, I have to admit, her music right now is some of the most futuristic and cutting edge pop music in the industry now. And so we have this album, Charli. I mean, everybody's dropping moody albums and low effort albums in 2019, but then we have Charli XCX, who dropped pretty much her biggest project yet. And yes, it is a pop album, even though it has its absurd moments and its very electronic, synthesized, cutting edge moments. It's still a pop album nonetheless. And I'm gonna be honest here. The reason why I delayed this album review for a long time is because I find it a little hard to digest her album. Maybe it's because I'm not a huge fan of pop music, but for me, I didn't really enjoy it all that much in the first few listens. However, a lot of the songs really grew on me, and I'm gonna talk about the album now. So, the album starts off with Next Level Charli, and it's a car song. Of course, it's a car song. I mean, it's Charli XCX. Of course, she loves cars, am I right? But it's a seriously good introduction track because listening to the song feels like you're being ascended to a next level of pop music, like the title suggests, Next Level Charli. And I also really like the very hyper aggressive vocal yelps and also the very sugar coated glossy keyboards. The whole track is just this very glossy ascended moment. And then we have the second track, Gone, featuring French singer songwriter Christine and the Queens, and boy, this track is already one of my favorite songs of the year. If not my favorite. I mean, the Tyler the Creator song "A Boy's a Gun" is also like a strong contender for like the number one best song of the year. But yeah, anyway, this track is an incredibly powerful pop anthem with these glossy but simple keyboards that are actually really uplifting and are really effective. I think the vocals on this thing is incredibly moving and soulful as well, and the chemistry between Christine and Charli is impeccable as well. And also the tight rhythms and the vocal performances, the yelps and the shouts, they are actually kind of reminiscent of some of Michael Jackson's most pumped works to date. And I also really like the slowly swirling electronic synths and bloops towards the end. And the music video is really fucking good. Like Charli and Christine give their best performances in a music video. At first, they're tied to a freaking car, of course, but later on, they sort of sing and dance together against one another, and it looks like they hate each other and they love each other at the same time. It's just so much emotions just crammed into one powerful pop anthem of an explosion, and it's just fantastic. Anyway, the third track is Cross You Out featuring Sky Ferreira, which isn't a track that I really enjoyed in the beginning, but it really grew on me. I'm not a huge fan of the very sluggish, slow beat, but the way it's distorted, the way it's super industrial and growly and rough. It's actually pretty amazing, complementing some angelic vocals performed by Charli and Sky. And yes, the melodies, the hooks, and the choruses of the track is pretty pleasant. I have to admit, a little catchy, a little, but mostly pleasant. And the ending is quite fantastic because we have some really powerful vocal harmonies just building it up to a big climax, and it's another really good song. Afterwards, we have 1999, which is probably my second favorite song on the album. It features Troye Sivan, and I regret not putting this song in my 2018 best songs list because it's hella catchy. And looking at the song title, you can tell that this song is a 90s throwback pop banger, in that we get these keyboards that are incredibly flavorful, bouncy, and upbeat. You know, it's kind of funny because, come to think of it, I never have lived through 1999. I am actually 3 years late, and I will probably never live through 2099, which is a bummer. But still, nonetheless, this song is really friggin' catchy. Amazing beats, amazing instrumentals, amazing performances. The music video is a bit of a hodgepodge for me. I like that it tries its best to reference all like big pop culture references in the 90s, but it's probably trying too hard, especially when Charli is pretending to be like Steve Jobs and all that, but whatever. The song is great. Afterwards, I hit my first obstacle in the album, and the track is Click, featuring Kim Petras and Estonian rapper Tommy Cash. Essentially, this track is a hip-hop infused pop banger, I guess. It tries to be a banger. We get these beats that are really abrasive and clit. Did I say clit? Oh my gosh, I'm such a child. And we get these beats that are really abrasive and glitchy, and I do like how they sound, but the instrumentals, they feel really one note and one dimensional. And while I kind of like the aggressive rapping and singing, together they feel a little bland, a little one dimensional, and there isn't really any progression throughout the whole track. The outro of the track is really noisy and fun, but that's the only part of the track where I actually feel like it's a good track. Yeah, not one of the better tracks here. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it needs a little more catchiness and fun to it, you know? Afterwards, you have the track Warm, featuring Haim, the Haim sisters. And it's also one of the least interesting tracks on the album, in my opinion. It just feels like a really bland track that lacks progression. The verses and the choruses, they feel really similar, and I do like the springy, flowery keyboards, but they're just so low-key. They're so quiet. It's okay. Let's resume the review. Yeah, the keyboards, they're so low-key, and the track is mainly filled up with silence and dead air, and it's just not so great. Afterwards, we have the track Thoughts, which also grew on me a lot. It's essentially this slow-paced, moody song with these ringy, whoopy synths that are so densely packed together, and also these bold, but also super-duper thick and dense layers of auto-tunes on Charli's vocals. And yes, this song is slow, it's not that eventful, not that fun. It feels really futuristic, cutting edge, and almost a little alien, like Area 51 alien. Okay, I'll shut up. But also, this track is soulful. It feels emotionally potent, and I just really like that. Afterwards, you have the track Blame It On Your Love, featuring Lizzo, which is originally track 10 off of Pop 2, which is this drony, spacey pop ballad. But now it's this gargantuan, powerful pop anthem with some really fun performances. And I really like that. I really like the upgrading of the track, even though the chord progression isn't like the most original or the most creative or the most unorthodox thing I've heard. But it's still a really catchy and fun song. I love the clickety-clackety beats. I love the banger, punchy beats as well, both of them. I like the arena-sized instrumentals, and Lizzo's performance adds so much flavor and so much personality to the track. The music video is really friggin' weird, and it's coming from me, who likes weird stuffs. Like, it's weird, but not like weirder than my usual weird stuffs. It's more like it's weird and not in a way I prefer it to be. It's basically this, you know, sexual acceptance thing, which is something I appreciate, but still, the music video, it's freaking weird, man. It's freaking weird. Then we have the song White Mercedes, which isn't also one of my favorite tracks on the album. It is a very glistening, glossy love song, which is kind of moody, kind of slow, and it's about not deserving a person who forgives you all the time and loves you no matter what you do and what kind of mistakes you had done. I like the message, but the hook of the thing just feels a little... I don't know. I feel like I've heard this chord progression a million times before. It's like the chord progression on the chorus of Coldplay's Viva La Vida almost. I'm not saying that this track ripped off Viva La Vida. I'm just saying that they both share a similar chord progression. And I'm sure these two songs also share a similar chord progression on the chorus with so many other pop hits out there. So it's not very original to me, but maybe it's just me. I don't know. The next track, Silver Cross, however, is a total banger, which I love a lot. It is ceremonial, it is flavorful, it is triumphant, it is incredible, and I really like the thumping, buzzing beats, the angular but also very sugar-coated and sweet instrumentals, and the whole track is just a banger that just keeps on booming and booming and booming and ascending as well. And then afterwards we have a string of actually two moody tracks, starting off with I Don't Wanna Know, which is one of the more raw moments on the album. It's this really slow and quiet synth ballad. And yeah, I have to admit, the song lacks progression and dynamic, and it's not as catchy, okay? It's not as catchy, not as colorful, not as flavorful, and the vocals, they feel a little aimless. That being said, though, I still appreciate the production of the track. I like how cleanly polished and sterile, but also kind of glitchy at the same time the production is. Then we have the track Official, which sounds kind of similar. It's a really slow and quiet ballad, but it's way more effective because it is more intimate and more subtle in that it lets its own emotions bleed through the music. I really like the swirly electronic decorations of the track, and the bare bones vocals and the low-key glossy keyboards of the thing is also pretty beautiful. We have the track Shake It, which is one of the weirdest songs on the album in my opinion. It features Big Frida, Cupcake, Brooke Candy, and Pablo Vittar. Yeah, and it really works, actually. This is essentially a very freaky and fun banger that is sensual and slick and weird, and I actually really love it. It's futuristic, it's abrasive, it has its very noisy moments, but also its melodic moments, and the whole thing, it's amazing. And there are 5 performers on the track, and each one of them performs on top of a different beat. Like the beats and the instrumentals, they sort of shift and change a little bit on every verse, and it's just this really creative train of performances. We have Charli's performances, we have the breathing, we also have the pumpy beat and the very high-pitched synthesized vocals, which is actually really brilliant in my opinion. It's really stimulating my ears. We have Big Frida's performance on top of these wailing, fluttery synths that sounds like strings, and it's just like this unorthodox, wonky moment. We have Cupcake, almost whisper rapping, and we also get these demented metallic bangs underneath, which sort of lasts throughout the rest of the track, which complements the performances really well. And overall, I really like the track. I think it's pretty much a banger, even though it takes time to digest the track, of course. Afterwards, we have the last two tracks. February 2017 featuring Clairo and Yeji, and also 2099 featuring Troye Sivan. The former is okay. At first, it's pretty amazing. The first time I listened to the song, I really liked it. However, in the context of every other track here, this track feels okay in comparison. It just feels okay. The instrumentals, the performances, they're good, but they're really not that interesting in comparison with other crazier, freakier tracks on the album. So yeah, the track does feel like a bit of a dud here. However, the album ends off really, really well with 2099, which doesn't sound like 1999 at all. It feels like almost a dystopian, futuristic synth pop send-off, which sounds like we are being continuously ascended to another level. It's a really great ending. I just really love the washed out synths that are a little futuristic. In a way, it's not sugar coated, but in a way it's kind of metallic almost. It's a little bitter and kind of metallic. And I also really like the lyrics of the thing. It doesn't make any sense, but I still kind of like it. I'm Pluto, Neptune, pull up, roll up, future, and also I'm pull up, roll up, fuck up, and it just goes up. The whole thing just goes up, and it just ascends us to another level. So yeah, overall, while I don't think this is one of the greatest pop albums of all times, it has its flaws, and there are moments here where I think it's just kind of bland and uninspired. But still, I think this album has some of the most impressive and powerful and cutting-edge pop songs of the year, and the track Gone is easily one of the best songs of the year. So my favorite track here is Gone, and my least favorite is Warm. I am giving Charli XCX. Charli a light to decent 8 out of 10. So have you listened to Charli? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, I will be reviewing the Highwomen, Tropical Fuckstorm, Hobo Johnson, as well as Alex Cameron, as well as Blink-182, also the Nostalgia Critic album very soon. And also Clipping, and Angel Olsen, and Danny Brown, and maybe even Phineas O'Connell.